The Bride of the River God, Episode 10, by Somi's Folktales. Adeze had 5 hours with her family. She spent every second of them fully present, eating her mother's cooking and listening to her father's stories.
And then, the clever tortoise won the race.
More rice, my dear.
This stew is amazing.
I'm so glad you like it.
Can I have more bread? Of course, sweetie. Here you go.
We should do this more often.
Definitely. Letting Chidinma braid her hair, she said everything that needed to be said and nothing that didn't. And when the light began to change, she got up. Not yet. Please, not yet. The sun is moving, little fish. Will you come back again? Can he send you back again? I promise, little fish.
So I'm not afraid to fall.
I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him.
Make him say yes.
I am quite good at making him do things. Have I told you that?
Is he good to you?
He is learning how to be, and so am I. We are figuring it out. That is all any marriage is. You learn every day. What matters understanding and trust.
5 hours felt a lifetime in my hands. Braids woven with our tears and laughter's gentle strands. But the river calls my name.
The river stirs in recognition as a daisy approaches. A daisy crouches down to the river. I kept my word. And you had better keep yours. Chidinma comes to the bank sometimes. I want to know everything she says. She steps in. The water receives her. This time, Adeze walks into the river, not scared, not terrified, but as if she was going home. Adeze was back to the deep waters. She had seen the great coral garden, the viewing chamber, the amber halls where the bioluminescent flowers bloomed gold in the darks. She had ridden on the back of a great shark through the open, luminous deep. She had argued about spatial arrangements and laughed at things that were not funny and cried in the far chambers where the light was lowest. She thought she had seen the deep. The deep, as it turned out, was only the beginning. These ones are new. I have not seen this variety before.
They bloom once every 12 years. The last time they bloomed, your grandmother was a child.
You remember my grandmother as a child?
I remember everyone who has ever sat at my banks. Every child who has ever put their feet in my water.
How large is your world, Oru? I mean, truly, I have seen the coral garden, the deep halls, the viewing chamber. But how far does the river go?
Far, farther than you have seen, farther than I have shown you.
Then show me.
There are parts of the deep that are not dangerous, not to you, not with me. The ocean is carefully vast, older than I am. Things live there that have not seen a human in centuries.
You have been alone for 1,000 years and you are warning me about unusual company.
Come then. There is something I want to show you. Something I have shown no one.
I thought you would never ask. How deep are we?
Deeper than the river has a name for. Deeper than your people's stories reach.
How much further?
Look down.
She looked down, and the darkness below them was not darkness at all. It was light, warm, golden, vast. Oh, what is this?
This is where the river began.
It was not what she had words for. The world below, the true deep, the ancient place, like a cathedral built from the inside of the earth itself. An entire living, breathing, extraordinary world was vast beyond anything she had encountered in the familiar river halls. It opened outward in every direction.
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this.
This is the heart of the ancient realm. Come, I will guide you.
The lights, the city below, it's all so magical.
The magic is just beginning.
There are people here,
Not people exactly.
but not people either. Tell me everything. Are they?
The Miri daughters, they have been here since before the river had a name. They are the reason the deep flowers bloom. They tend this world the way your people tend their farms.
The Miri daughters.
They are beautiful.
Do they speak?
They speak. And they have been waiting to meet you.
It is a pleasure meeting you. You are a brave girl.
The pleasure is all mine.
She is human, but very brave.
Yes.
And she managed to tame the toughest water god. They are all like you, gods.
River spirits, water spirits, deep water guardians. Different waters, different peoples above, different covenants.
All of them with their own covenants?
All of them with their own arrangements with the people above, yes.
Then I want to understand yours.
Fully.
I want to understand why you are what you, why the covenant exists, and why it looks the way it looks.
Tell me everything, Oru. There is a place for this.
Oru has really changed since this human came, a god and a human in love. That's strange. I guess that's the power of love. She's truly a brave girl.
I did not choose this river. I was not placed here. I am this river. I have been since before your people came to its banks, before the first person here, existing, alone.
For how long before they came?
Long enough that I had lost count of my own years. The river ran, and I ran with it. The fish lived in me, and I gave them life. But there was no one.
And then they came.
A small group, the ancestors of your people, they came from the east. They found this river and they stopped. And I watched them the way I always watched, from below, from the deep. Seeing everything and being seen by nothing.
What would it be like? Your first memory of them?
Loud. They were extraordinarily loud. They argued about everything. Where to build, how to build, who should build first. Their children ran into my water before the adults had decided whether it was safe. An old woman sat at my bank the first free evening and sang something I have never forgotten. She as if she knew I was there.
In the river's gentle flow, a tale of old we know, where spirits dance and waters glow, secrets of the land they show.
And I thought, these are people who are fully alive in every moment. I had never seen that before.
We are still like that.
Yes, you are exactly like that. They needed the river. Not just wanted it, needed it. The land they had found was good land, but dry land. Without my water, nothing would grow. Without my fish, there would not be enough to eat through the dry seasons. They needed me.
And you? I needed them. You could leave, if you had wanted. You could have gone somewhere else in the river system.
Yes, I am not bound to Amaise.
I am bound to no single place. Then why didn't you? Why have you stayed in one place for hundreds of years watching one village when you could have moved, could have gone deeper, could have...
Because if I leave, the river dries.
What?
The river Oru runs because I am in it.
My presence is what gives it life, not just the water, but the fish, the seasonal floods that replenish the soil, the rains that the river draws. I come from the clouds. I am not a god who lives in a river. I am what the river is. If I leave, completely, truly leave, the water does not simply lose its spirit.
It becomes a ditch, then a dry bed, then nothing.
Would die.
Everything would die, demise. Not just harming the soil, the fish season with the rains. All of it depends on my presence in this.
You have been staying here.
Yes.
Not because you were placed here or bound here, because leaving would kill everyone.
Yes.
That is the loneliest thing I have ever heard.
It is what it is. I do not say it for pity. I say it because you asked and because you deserve the full truth of it.
I know and I respect that. How did the covenant come about?
There was a woman called Neka. She was the first Ezenwanyi and the first person to notice my presence and called me to come out. Just like you called me out.
She was just like me.
Yes, she was as brave as you were. She also knew my importance and begged me to stay, and we came to an agreement. I stay and provide water and everything needed while they provide me with company.
Not sacrifice.
Over time, your village turned everything into a ceremonial sacrifice. The initial purpose was lost until you came.
You were different.
Yes, you were. I did not expect this. I have been waiting for someone like her for 200 years. She sat at the bank for 3 nights talking to me. At the end of the 3rd night, she said, "You have kept our river alive for 2 generations without being asked and without receiving anything. That is not right. What do you need?"
And you told her.
Company. The same word I said to you. It was the only honest answer, and that's how the covenant was formed. Neka went back and told the elders and the villagers about the agreement. Though they argued at first, she made them understand the importance of my waters, and they eventually gave in. I stay and provide water, fish, seasonal floods, the rains. They honor me. And every generation, when I become too lonely, they send me a companion. That is what it became called over the generations. Called it a companion. The word changed as the story was passed down. The ceremony grew more formal, but the original meaning, company, freely given, that was always the intention.
Could you have sent a message said some other way, not through taking someone from their family?
Yes. I think the ceremony became more about what the village needed, a ritual, a dramatic gesture to a powerful force, than about what I actually needed, which is what you said to me on the first day.
I said many things to you on the first day.
You said, "You are not a sacrifice, you are right."
Then why did you accept it each time?
Because I was lonely enough that I accepted what came. That is not an excuse, it is simply the truth. I was lonely enough that when the brides came, I told myself that company was company. That the form of it was less important than the fact of it.
And now
The light awakens for you.
it's so beautiful.
Feel its power. And now I know the difference. Because you showed me the difference. There is no comparison between what I had before and what I have now. What I had before was proximity. What I have now is you. Come, let me take you to the Great Amber Plaza.
When they returned to the Great Amber Plaza, the other beings of the true deep had gathered, not in a formal way, not summoned, not ceremonially arranged, simply gathered.
The way people gather when something interesting is happening and they want to be near it. And all of them were looking at Adiz.
They all know. They all know.
The deep knows everything that happens in it.
We have waited for you. He is different since you came. I am glad to hear.
This is where it starts.
This is where I started. When the first water came up through that stone, that was the beginning of me. I have no memory before it. Only the rising of the first water and then everything after.
That must be strange.
To have a beginning you remember.
Humans have beginnings they cannot remember. I am not certain one is better than the other.
Fair point.
Darisa,
Yes.
I want to say something and I need you not to argue with me for 5 seconds.
I will try. I am making no promises.
I have existed for longer than your language has existed. I have watched 1,000 lives from below the surface of my water. I have been present for every human experience. There is love and grief and joy and rage and everything in between, and I understood none of it. Not truly.
Not from the inside.
I understood it the way you understand a language you have read but never spoken. And then you walked into my river. And you told me you were not a sacrifice. and you would not be owned, and terror is not a reason to stop, and you reorganized my coral, and you argued about spatial awareness. And you cried in the far chamber, and you laughed at me, and you looked at my ancient world with those extraordinary dark eyes and found it worth looking at.
Oru,
I understand now. What I was watching from below the surface for all those years, I understand it from the inside. Because of you. You gave me that. You walked in here with your conditions and your spine and your specific impossible self, and you gave me the one thing that 1,000 years could not. The experience of being known by someone who chose to know me, not forced.
For what it is worth, you gave me something too.
What did I give you?
an honest answer. Every time. No performance, no ceremony, just truth. You have been telling me the truth about yourself since the first day, and you did not know how rare that is. I have spent my whole life being told partial truths by people who thought they were protecting me. You told me everything completely and trusted me to handle it. That is not nothing. That is a great deal.
Yes.
I stayed for them.
I love you.
But love doesn't hold, it chooses free. A new covenant for you and me. No sacrifice, just you and I. Home in two worlds beneath the sky. Even into the deeper world of living luminescence, where ancient waters breathe a silent, sacred reverence. He stayed and I chose, so the river now flows. With a covenant of heart, a new epoch grows. I return.
She is there.
She comes often. I told you.
She looks all right. She looks more than all right.
She is.
I want to change something about the covenant.
Tell me.
The part where brides are brought in ceremony, where the whole village comes to watch.
Where it is a sacrifice and a spectacle, and children stand at the bank and watch their siblings go under. I want that part to stop.
Yes.
You agree?
I agreed the day you told me you were not a sacrifice. I have been waiting for someone with the authority to change it.
What authority do I have?
You are my wife. You are the one who came freely, who spoke to me honestly, who went into the true deep and was welcomed by the Miri daughters. If you speak to Ezenwanyi, if you bring the new terms of the covenant, they will listen.
And the new terms?
I stay, I provide, the river runs, the fish come, the rains follow the river. All of that continues as it has. And in return, Ameze honors the river, not through sacrifice, through care, through never building another dam, through teaching their children that the river is alive and has been alive since before the village existed and deserves to be treated accordingly.
And the company?
The company I already have.
3 days later, by the deep's reckoning, Adeze came back to the village at dawn. She walked out of the water alone. This time she wore deep gold, the dress Oru had given her from the true deep. The fabric of her dress flowed like river water, blazing in the dawn light. Her black coils were arranged with care, silver thread woven throughout.
You came back again!
I told you I would. I always tell you when I will.
You also told me the stone was for the river and then gave it to the river god, and I am not over it.
He gave me a better one. A much better one.
Lovebirds.
The true deep. The Miri daughters. What I need from my family.
You are asking us to trust the river god.
I am asking you to trust me. I have been in his world for 40 days. I know who he is, and he is worth the trust.
You love him.
Yes.
Then we trust him.
Then we trust him.
I trusted him 3 weeks ago when he told me you were all right. All of you are very slow.
You should be patient, little one. I'm heading to Ezenwai's house now.
Okay, but hurry back.
You went to the true deep.
You knew about the true deep?
I am 75 years old and have been high priestess since I was 40. I know considerably more than I tell people. It keeps things from becoming unnecessarily complicated.
Ha!
Tell me what you found.
Ezenwanyi, I have told you everything.
the new terms of the covenant, and to what you must carry to the village, to the elders. I have been waiting for someone to bring exactly this proposal for 60 years. I have been bringing brides to the river with a ceremony I knew was wrong for 60 years. Because no bride came back to tell me what would be better. Now I have information from the inside.
Will the elders accept it?
The elders will accept what I tell them to accept. That has always been the arrangement, and none of them have ever been brave enough to test it.
Asti, you are extraordinary.
Ezenwanyi, you are extraordinary.
Yes, I know. Now let's go talk to the people. The spirit's pact with Neka was altered by silence. He asks only for acknowledgement, not sacrifice. This is the new covenant.
My people, I stand before you as your voice to the river.
People of Amaeze, there have been changes in the covenant. The river spirit will continue to provide water and sustain us. And all he asks is that we honor him and acknowledge him. Adeyes will guide us in this new agreement.
I went into this river as a sacrifice. I came back from it as something else entirely. I am telling you this not as a cautionary tale and not as a miracle, but as a simple fact. The river is alive. The being in it is ancient and real and has been keeping this village alive for 200 years by choice, not by obligation. He did not have to stay. He is not bound here. He stays because leaving would hurt you all, your children, your crops, your wells. He stays because he made a promise to people who have been dead for 2 centuries, and he has kept it every single day since. You do not poison it. You do not take more from it than it can give. You teach your children what it is and why it matters, and you never again bring a bride to this bank in white cloth with slow drums. If the river god needs company in the future, you send someone who chooses to go. Freely, with full knowledge of what they are choosing. Those are the terms. Those are the terms. Do you accept them?
Yes, we accept together.
The village stands as one.
The river Oru ran full and fast and generous for the next 100 years. Obiora learned to fish again, properly, the way he had as a young man. Chidinma became the next high priestess. She was extraordinarily good at it, because she had spent years talking to the river, and because she had inherited her sister's ability to say precisely, she said the thing that needed to be said in the exact tone that made people hear it. She also reorganized the entire ceremony structure, which everyone agreed was an improvement.
Ada, 10 years have passed since the new covenant was made. I am now the Ezenwanyi, no longer your little fish. I am Chidinma, the high priestess of Amaeze.
And Adeze lived in both worlds. She came to the surface often, more than Oru had expected, more than she had expected. She sat with Chidinma at the bank on market morning and argued about the price of yams. She held her mother's hand in the evenings. She watched her father's laugh come all the way back. And she went back down into the deep where Oru waited. His loneliness vanished, and he stares at the 19-year-old girl who had walked into the river and told him she would not be owned.